Because in our society today, suicide is something that we keep very quiet. Nobody talks about it. Nobody understands the before, during, and after.
It is very emotional because it's so personal and society is so judgmental. And because of that, we take that glass that's filled with whatever it is and we hide that glass in the darkest corner, far away from, we don't even want to say it to ourselves because we're afraid if we say it to ourselves, someone else is going to hear it.
I went to college. That I started questioning who I was. At college, I lived on the 9th floor. We had a tall building. So there was an elevator. I literally got to a point where I thought about killing myself, jumping out the window. Because there was nothing constraining to block you from, no bars, no nothing. Literally thinking, I don't deserve to live. You're not worthy. All these thoughts. No one loves you. Reached out to a therapist. It was tugging at my heart, and I felt that if I kept hiding the way that I was just told to suppress part of my life, if I didn't share that, at least I wouldn't be moving forward. Now that I write it down and then go back to it after a while and read it, it's real. It becomes more real to me that that's what happened, or that's what happened in my day. Because for so long I lived inside my head.
As many as 8 out of 10 teens who commit suicide try to ask for help before committing suicide. I'm depressed. Can someone help me?
My friend was depressed. He told me he was having a problem. I helped him tell his parents and find help. I'm depressed. Can someone talk to me?
My friend was depressed. I gave her a hotline number. She called and she got help. My friend is depressed.
I was depressed. I had my friend. We went to counseling together and now I feel much better.
Help does not appear. You have to find it.
Do ask, do tell.
But yeah, I do get suicidal often. I'm incredibly lonely. I'm incredibly depressed right now. I'm incredibly recluse. And just very, 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 very painfully lonely.
Okay.
You know, I'm one step away from being recluse. Some days I go a couple days without physically speaking to anyone other than my dog.
Question to ask you. Under all this pressure, internal pressure and external bullshit, did you ever feel like killing yourself?
Oh yeah. I get suicidal
Often. What do you do with those feelings? How do you not kill yourself? What do you say to talk yourself down?
Honestly, the thing that keeps me from killing myself most of the time is just the technicality of it. The fact that I would never want to leave a mess for other people to deal with. So I'd want to have the kind of, it sounds so stupid, I want to have the suicide where I tie up all the loose ends, sell my house, sell all my possessions, pay all my bills, not leave any,
Sure.
Any on top of the emotional and all that fucking bullshit that you leave behind. I wouldn't want to further burden family by having to go through my belongings. And the reality of that is it would take so long to do that. It would take like 6 months to wrap up all your affairs. That 6 hours later, I'm fine. I don't have time to plan my death.
I've experienced suicide very close and personal. When I was 17, I attempted to take my own life. I took a bunch of sleeping pills. I could feel my heart stop beating. Remember how worried my mom was?
Knowing maybe 4 or 5 friends of different levels of closeness over my lifetime that killed themselves.
As well.
And so, yeah, exactly. You can't help live a full life without knowing people that die.
Mm.
But there was one of my friends who didn't leave a note. Nobody knew why he did it. People are very absorbed in their own lives and their own things.
I wanted to kill myself twice.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to kill myself twice last week.
No, I did it twice. I sat in the garage one night and tried to make myself turn the car on, and then I did turn the car on, and then I made myself turn the car off. But yeah. And then another time I took a bottle of pills. And when I realized I wasn't trying to kill myself at that point, I took a bottle of like ibuprofen or something like that, but I took an entire bottle, so I had to go have my stomach pumped and the whole bit. So I do understand how you can get there, and I do understand the need for moving away from there and understanding as you approach that feeling of suicide, the more frequently you approach it, the more you might do it. It's about us deciding that we feel good about ourselves and F the world, really. We are the world. Thank you for joining us. If you're listening from our website, then in between the videos, you will see a Facebook plug-in there. Please feel free to leave your comments, questions, or suggestions. If you're listening directly from the Facebook page, that would be very easy for you to continue in the discussion with us. The only rules that we have, we ask, please, that you do not leave any name-calling or negative remarks or judgmental statements. This is an open forum. It's a place for people to really let go and to release themselves of those things that are blocking their energy and creativity and preventing them from having the best life they could have. So we welcome your comments, suggestions, and statements. And now the discussion begins. When I read some of the information that we had gathered about suicide, one of the things that stuck out in my mind was when people have health conditions that they feel are incurable.
Yeah.
They have a tendency to plan suicide if they never act on it. They think about it, and they plan out how they might go about doing it. Suicide today is like become an artistry. I mean, people are really just killing themselves.
I don't know if it happens more now than it used to, or we're just more connected now than we've ever been.
I think the numbers are relative to population, and I think you're right. I think it is now that we're more connected because in doing some research, I went back and saw some PSAs from 1973, which were focusing on, this enormous amount of people that are committing suicide. So it's been a problem that goes undiscussed.
Yeah.
It gets...
Because it's always been shameful. You don't want to talk about it.
Everything's shameful.
Everything is freaking taboo.
Everything, really? Come on now. Right. So the things that we should be talking about, we're not talking about. And that's what my Red Sofa session is all about. Is hitting those things head on because they're real.
It's not something in which you have to feel embarrassed about it. I mean, it's about your health. It just happens to be mental health. It doesn't mean that it's not still your health.
Somebody could look good on the outside and the physical, but it's like a mental illness that people are dealing with, and sometimes it could be severe and people need like the resources to deal with it.
We all need to be advocates to help those that are really suffering.
Because you can get to a point in your life, you can sit back and be as smug and grand as you want to be, but if the right thing comes in your life, the right challenge at the right time, and becomes a perfect storm, you don't know. But here's what you know, is that you're a human being, and the people that attempted to kill themselves for whatever reason, maybe it's because they feel no one loves them, maybe it's because they've had a bad divorce.
Mhm.
Maybe it's because they have had a child that has been very ill for years. There are a lot of people that suffer and struggle with sick children, and they don't know what to do with all that. They don't have the money. They can't make things better.
Right. The hopelessness.
Right. And so, we just don't know. We just need to open up our minds and our hearts and become a little more compassionate to understand what people are going through.
When I was looking on more about it, because like I said, I cannot recall, and I think it would be something you would remember if you had known someone who committed suicide.
Right. Oh, yeah, you would.
Yeah, and I don't think suicide has touched my life. I've known people who have thought about it, but I don't think I've known anyone who's actually committed suicide. But one of the things that was really, really surprising to me is that the majority of males,
79%
is males.
Well, the pressure.
Not only is it mostly males, but poisoning is the number one
for females.
Yeah,
females is poisoning.
And use guns.
Yeah, and men use guns.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Men have such an amount of pressure, even in this so-called liberal society, even in this metrosexual society. Men have a responsibility thing going in your head that society has pressured on.
And that's why I was surprised that it's mostly males. Because society and in family, especially culturally, you're raised to think and know men are strong. Nothing affects a man. He bulldozes and goes through and gets through everything.
So now you know that we have been fed a bunch of lies.
Bunch of bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Bunch of
lies. Bunch of bullshit.
Lies and garbage.
And they can't live up to the expectation.
They can't do it. They can't do it. So,
yeah. So obviously our expectations are unreal. Oh, they're false.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, positively unreal.
Yeah.
We are placing an undue amount of pressure on each other.
Mm-hmm.
And we in turn then place an undue amount of pressure on ourselves.